this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious...
Goodyear is an American multinational tire manufacturer. The company was founded on August 29, 1898 in Akron, Ohio, U.S. by Frank Seiberling. And to this very day, the company is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. Early history from 1898 to 1926. The first Goodyear factory opened in Akron. The first Goodyear factory opened in Akron, Ohio in 1898. The company originally manufactured bicycle and carriage tires, rubber horseshoe pads, and poker chips, and grew with the advent of automobile. In 1901, Goodyear founder Frank Seiberling provided Henry Ford with racing tires. In 1903, Goodyear president, chairman, and CEO Paul Weeks Litchfield was granted a patent for the first tubeless automobile tire. In 1910, the company purchased an existing rubber factory in Bowmanville, Ontario, in Canada, which expanded their manufacturing outside of the United States for the first time. In 1916, Litchfield found land in the Phoenix area suitable for growing long staple cotton, which was needed to reinforce its rubber tires. The 36,000 acres purchased were controlled by the Southwest Cotton Company, formed with Litchfield as president. This included land that would develop into the towns of Goodyear and Litchfield Park. In late 1919, the United States, influenced by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, organized the creation of a coal and steel state, under international protection, which included the Upper Silesian Industrial Circle and the Ostrava-Carvina Basin in the former Austrian Sicilia. Because of opposition from France, the United States withdrew from supporting the Silesian state. This period was marked by tensions leading up to the 1921 Upper Silesia Pepsicle. In 1924, Litchfield forged a joint venture with the German Lichtbau Zeppelin Company to form the Goodyear Zeppelin Corporation. From the late 1920s to 1940, the company worked with Goodyear to build two Zeppelins in the United States. The partnership continued even when Zeppelin was under Nazi control and only ended after World War II began. Expansion from 1926 to 1970. On August 5, 1927, Goodyear had its initial public offering and was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. By 1930, Goodyear had pioneered what would later become known as Tundra tires for smaller aircraft. Their so-called low-inflation pressure air wheel aviation wheel rim tire sets were initially available in sizes up to 46 inches, which is 117 centimeters in diameter. Over the next few decades, Goodyear grew to become a multinational corporation. It acquired the rival Kelly Springfield tire in 1935. During World War II, Goodyear manufactured F-4U Corsair fighter planes for the U.S. military. Goodyear ranked 30th among United States corporations in the value of wartime production contracts. World War II forced the delusion of Goodyear Zeppelin partnership in December 1940. By 1956, they owned and operated a nuclear processing plant in Ohio. In 1944, Goodyear created a subsidiary in Mexico in a joint venture with Compañía Juliera S.A.D.C.V. Compañía Juliera Goodyear Oxo S.A.D.C.V. or Goodyear Oxo. Radial tire transition. Goodyear is the only one of the 5 biggest tire firms among U.S. tire manufacturers in 1970 to remain independent into the 21st century. Goodyear's success was partly due to the challenge posed by radial tire technology and the varied responses. At the time, the entire U.S. tire industry produced the older bias ply technology. Estimates to fit factories with new machinery and tools for making the new product were between $600 million and $900 million. This was a substantial amount in a low-margin business with sales revenue in the low billions. The U.S. market was slowly shifting towards the radial tire as had already been the case in Europe and Asia. In 1968, Consumer Reports, an influential American magazine, acknowledged the superiority of radial construction, which had been developed in 1946 by Michelin. When Charles J. Pilioid Jr. became CEO in 1974, he faced a major investment decision regarding the radial tire, which today has a market share of nearly 100%. Despite heavy criticism at the time, Pilioid invested heavily in new factories and tooling to build the radial tire. Sam Jabara, who headed Goodyear from 1996 to 2003, has noted that without the action of Pilioid, Goodyear wouldn't be around today. Sales for 1969 topped $3 billion. 5 years later, sales topped to $5 billion, and Goodyear operated in 34 countries. In 1978, the original Akron plant was converted into a technical center for research and design. By 1985, worldwide sales exceeded $10 billion. Goodyear Aerospace, a holding that developed from the Goodyear Aircraft Company after World War II, designed a supercomputer for NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in 1979, the MPP. The subsidiary was sold in 1987 to the Laurel Corporation as a result of restructuring. In 1987, Goodyear formed a business partnership with Canadian tire retailer Fountain Tire. Diversification and Goldsmith Affair in 1986. In the 1980s, incoming Goodyear CEO Robert E. Mercer argued that the tire and automobile related businesses that formed the core of Goodyear to that date were slow growing and a handicap. He set a strategy to get away from the clinical nature of automobile business through mergers of purchases of businesses unrelated to tires or vehicles. In 1983, Goodyear acquired the natural gas company Celeron Corporation in exchange for stock valued at more than $740 million. It went on to invest heavily in gas exploration, including the 1,200-mile crude oil All-American pipeline from California to Texas. The project was initially estimated to cost $600 million, but ultimately cost almost $1 billion. In October 1986, British financier James Goldsmith, in conjunction with the investment group Hansen, purchased 11.5% of Goodyear's outstanding common stock. This was viewed as a greenmail attack by some and as shareholder activism by Goldsmith, who viewed the company's move into areas far removed from tire development, production, and sales as commercially ill-advised, and wanted the company to divest, especially its oil interests, which he viewed as depressing the value of the company. On November 20th, 1986, Goodyear acquired all of the stock held by Goldsmith Group, 12,549,400 shares at an above-market price of $49.50 per share. Goodyear also made a tender offer for up to 40 million shares of its stock from other shareholders at $50 per share. The tender offer resulted in Goodyear buying 40,435,764 shares of stock in February 1987. As a result of the stock buyback, Goodyear took a charge of $224.6 million associated with a massive restructuring plan. It sold its Goodyear Aerospace business to Laurel Corporation for $588 million and its motor wheel business to Lemmerez Incorporated for $175 million. Two subsidiaries involved in agriculture products, real estate development, and a resort hotel in Arizona were sold for $220.1 million. The company also sold the Celeron Gas and Oil Corporation. In 1998, the All-American Pipeline, Celeron Gathering, and Celeron Trading and Transportation were sold, largely completing completing what Goldsmith's hostile takeover had suggested good management should do. In the years following 1987, the company invested in its entire business. President Tom Barr succeeded Chairman Robert Mercer in 1989 and began a process of modernizing and expanding Goodyear plants in cities like Lawtown, Oklahoma, Napanee, Canada, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Scottsboro, Alabama. In the 2000s, the move of business into low-wage countries facilitated by GATT, which Goldsmith had warned government against, calling it a policy to impoverish, resulted in plants across North America being shuttered. For instance, Cumberland, Maryland, New Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and Windsor, Vermont were closed. 1990 to present. The last major restructuring of the company took place in 1991. Goodyear hired Stanley Galt from former CEO Rubbermaid to expand the company into new markets. The moves resulted in 12,000 employees being laid off. In 2005, Titan Tire purchased the farm tire business of Goodyear and manufactures Goodyear agriculture tires under license. This acquisition included the plant in Freeport, Illinois. In the summer of 2009, the company announced it would close its tire plant in the Philippines as part of a strategy to address uncompetitive manufacturing capacity globally by the end of the third quarter of that year. Goodyear announced plans to sell the assets of its Latin American off-road tire business to Titan Tire for $98.6 million, including the plant in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and a licensing agreement that allows Titan to continue manufacturing under the Goodyear brand. This deal is similar to Titan's 2005 purchase of Goodyear's U.S. farm tire assets. In 2011, more than 70 years after the dissolution of the Goodyear Zeppelin Corporation, it is announced that Goodyear would partner with Zeppelin again, the legacy company Zeppelin Vocatronic, to build more Zeppelins together. In 2018, Goodyear and Bridgestone announced the creation of Tire Hub, a joint wholesale distribution network across the United States. At the same time, Goodyear also announced that it was ending its distribution relationship with American Tire Distributors, which is the largest tire wholesaler in the U.S. In 2018, Goodyear was ordered to pay $40.1 million to J. Walter Tidwell, who claimed he developed the miscellanea because of exposure to asbestos. After the trial, Goodyear asked the New York Supreme Court for a new trial. Goodyear attorney James Lynch said Goodyear did not receive proper consideration from the jury. Lynch said that the other side's attorneys engaged in character assassinations against expert witnesses. During closing remarks, the attorneys Tidwell put up a slide with the heads of Goodyear's experts witnesses pasted onto insulting caricatures. In December 2018, Goodyear ceased operations in Venezuela due to a lack of materials and rising costs resulting from hyperinflation. In February 2021, Goodyear announced that it would acquire the Copper and Tire Rubber Company for $2.5 billion. The transaction closed in the second half of 2021. In July 2024, Goodyear announced the sale of its off-the-road tire business to Yokohama Rubber Company for $905 million. In January 2025, the firm announced the sale of Dunlop brand to Sumitomo Rubber Industries for $701 million. Timeline. Goodyear was founded in 1898. In 1899, automobile tires added the original product line of bicycle tires, carriage tires, and horseshoe pads. In 1901, Seiberling makes racing tires for Henry Ford. In 1903, Paul Litchfield granted patent on first tubeless automobile tire. Litchfield would go on to become president of Goodyear Zeppelin, then board chairman. In 1908, Ford's Model T is outfitted with Goodyear's tires. In 1909, the first pneumatic aircraft tire. In 1911, the first airship envelop. In 1912, Goodyear blimp would first debuts. In 1917, made airships and balloons for the U.S. military during World War I. In 1919, tires on the winning car at the Indianapolis 500. In 1924, Zeppelin patents acquired. Joint venture Goodyear Zeppelin Corporation formed the German company. In 1925, Pilgrim is launched, the first commercial non-rigid airship to use helium. In 1926, world's largest rubber company, based on sales of $230,161,356. In 1927, initial public offering. In 1929, construction of the world's largest airship dock started in Akron. Also in 1929, introduction of the first known example of low-pressure tundra tires for aviation, invented by Alvin G. Musselman as Goodyear Air Wheels. In 1935, acquired Kelly Springfield Tire. In 1937, first American-made synthetic rubber tire. In 1940, in December, Goodyear Zeppelin Corporation dissolved with World War II's straining partnership. In 1942, awarded contract to build FG Series 1942 awarded contract to build FG Series Crossair naval fighter plane. In 1944, tire testing begins in San Angelo, Texas. In 1947, first nylon tires developed. In 1949, first television advertising with sponsorship of the Goodyear Review, hosted by Paul Whiteman. In 1954, first nationwide strike in the company's history lasted 52 days. In 1956, Goodyear operated U-235 atomic processing plant opens in Ohio. In 1957, Goodyear proving grounds for tire testing near San Angelo, Texas is rebuilt. In 1958, production of foam-padded instrument panels begun for 1959 model cars. In 1962, Goodyear racing tires used on more winning stock and sports cars than any other brand. In 1963, Goodyear produces its 1 billionth tire. In 1965, radial ply tires made available in a full range of sizes to auto manufacturers. In 1967, Goodyear introduces polyglass tire, one of the first wide-tired bias belted fiberglass tires, which, along with similar tires from competitors such as Firestone, Wide Oval, would become regular equipment on 1970 to 1974 models, which would be superseded by radial tires beginning in 1975. In 1969, sales reached $3 billion. In 1970, first tires on the moon, Apollo 14. In 1974, sales reached $5 billion. In 1975, all tires in Indianapolis 500 supplied by Goodyear. In 1976, Chemical Division shipped first shatterproof polyester resin bottle. In 1977, industry's first all-season tire, Tempio, was introduced. In 1978, Akron plant converted into technical center for R&D. In 1983, 3 billionth tire produced. In 1984, worldwide sales exceeded $10 billion. In 1986, James Goldsmith's takeover attempt and resulting restructuring. In 1987, completion of the California-Texas All-American Oil Pipeline. In 1991, a quadruped tire introduced. In 1992, began selling tires at Sears stores. In 1993, opened first tire in Beijing, China. In 1993, inauguration of Dalian plant, China. In 1994, electronic store opened on CompuServe. In 1995, worldwide sales exceeded $13 billion. In 1995, bought Polish tire company Debussy. In 1998, sold all American Pipeline and Celeron businesses. In 1999, announced $1 billion global alliance with Japan's Sumitomo Rubber Industries, which had rights to Dunlop Tires brand in much of the world, to establish 6 joint ventures in North America, Europe, and Japan. In 2000, formed an internet-based purchasing alliance with 5 other rubber companies called RubberNetwork.com. In 2003, quarterly dividend to shareholders eliminated. In 2004, Assurance Trip Tread and Comfort Tread tires introduced. In 2005, North American Farm Tire Operations sold to Titan Tire Corporation. In 2006, Goodyear blimp made maiden voyage in China. In 2007, Engineered Products Division sold to Carly Group. EPD is renamed to Vayance Technologies. In 2008, Voluntary Employees Beneficiary Association Trust, VEBA, approved U.S. District Court funded with $1 billion. In In 2009, Goodyear Assurance Fuel Max tire introduced in North America. In 2010, plans announced to sell European and Latin American farm tire businesses. 2011, after being dissolved during World War II, Goodyear and Zeppelin's legacy company partnered again to build more airships together. In 2013, new headquarters complex opens in Akron. In 2015, Goodyear and Sumitomo announced that they would dissolve their worldwide partnership. And finally, in 2018, the company ranked 187th on the Fortune 500 list of the largest United States companies by revenue, marking its 24th year on the list. And there's the history of Goodyear. How did it become so popular? Well, I think with all their mergers that they did over the years, and with their merger with Fountain Tire in Canada, I think that's how they became very popular, and how they were able to get their name out there and their products out there as well. But anyways, with all that being said, I think I'm going to end off this video. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please make sure to like button, and also don't forget to subscribe, because I try and do videos every single day. I know that I've been a little bit far behind on videos lately, but I am trying to get back into the groove of them. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my other channels as well, including Exotic Dan Walkthroughs, where I do walkthrough videos for you guys, and Dance Plays, where I upload the RMVs with the swearing in them, and some exclusive content on there for you guys as well. And it is also the place where you can watch this video with the swearing in it as well. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!